You probably don't remember Captain Claw. And that's okay. Neither did my friends when I asked them about it. Seems like I was the only cool 5-year-old playing it in 2001, about 4 years after its release. I remember that odd Saturday morning when we got our first desktop PC, and all I could think about was playing some games. I didn't know which ones yet, but I just knew that they could play them, so I wanted to. I remember being handed 4 very dodgy looking discs by the guy who brought it home to us, and when I asked him what it was, he just happened to reply with Game. This one, Captain Claw, also known as Claw, just happened to be one of them. So if you will allow me to take you on this nostalgia trip down a very pothole filled and broken down memory lane, I'd be glad to show you around this world of swashbuckling, landlubbing, anthropomorphic cats, dogs, and beyond, through the eyes of a giddy 5-year-old and an even giddier 24-year-old. Captain Claw was developed in 1997 by this little indie studio. I guess you've probably not heard of them. Yeah, let me just see. Who made this game? Was it? Oh yeah, it was Monolith Productions. In the year 1997, Monolith Productions, the folks who gave us the Middle-earth video games, Gotham City Imposters, and the Fear series, began with this. It was the third game ever following Marbus. I hope I pronounced that one right, which was published by Monolith, and Blood, which was a Doom clone developed by Monolith and published by GT Interactive, which is now Atari Inc. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. Anyway, Captain Claw was developed for Microsoft Windows and released under the claim that it'd be more family friendly and that the violence would not be cranked up to 11 this time around because there were too many violent video games already. Considering there weren't many pirate-themed games back then, the Monkey Island series being the only noteworthy one that comes to mind as I write this, it seemed like if anyone wanted a good pirate fix, this was the other go-to game, and to me, it was glorious. Though many critics dismissed the game, claiming it to be too similar to the 2D side-scrollers at the time, a very different set of critics, myself included, praised it for its attractive visuals, seamless animations, and overall platforming variety, not to forget the unique presentation. It is today regarded as one of the cult classics of 2D platformers. At least it is by me. And I will take that statement to the grave. Needless to say, Captain Claw left an impression on everyone who played it at the time. Captain Claw, more grandiloquently known as Captain Nathaniel Joseph Claw, is the titular character, our protagonist and notorious cat pirate. Now on the run, seemingly trying to escape the Cocker Spaniards, yes, a play on the word Cocker Spaniels, which is extremely funny, and Leroux, their leader, we get our first glimpse at what we're about to play. We're thrown into this world right in the midst of battle between two warring factions, drawn with the same 90s flair of a low-budget cartoon, charming, rough around the edges, but enthralling for a kid as young as I was at the time. In these first few frames, you get to know the conflict our characters are in and eventually see the failure and capture of our beloved cat pirate, with his ship sinking, crew seemingly dead, and hope all lost. Now, isn't that a thrill ride for a 5-year-old? I remember being completely blown away by the quote-unquote maturity of the content in this game back in the day. Considering this was my first ever video game, I was hooked. With a simple story and a character with enough motivation being fed to him every step of the way with a cutscene, it told us the tale of Captain Claw in the most cookie-cutter manner, which was very common back in the day. It's not that this is bad, it's just that it doesn't hold up very well today. But I digress. The story begins with Captain Claw escaping the prison he's captured in after finding a note in the cell that tells a mysterious tale about the Amulet of 9 Lives, an ancient mythical artifact that grants the wearer, well, 9 lives. And this is where we're handed control. As soon as Captain Claw escapes prison, it's onward to the 9 gems that make up the amulet. Equipped with a cutlass, a flintlock pistol, some dynamite, and the ability to cast a discount ki blast called a magic claw, you set out on a journey made up of 14 levels, each with their own themes, challenges, traps, puzzles, enemy variety, designs, hidden mini levels, and even a boss on every second level. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. Press the arrow keys to move, the spacebar to jump, the control key to use the sword, also contextually punch and kick, 1, 2, and 3 for special attacks, and the Z button to pick up and throw objects. Easy, right? Well, not really. This game came with a pretty steady difficulty curve that escalates somewhere around at the halfway point of the game. It tends to give every level a certain gimmick, slowly introducing you to almost everything you'll come across in the later levels of the game. This incremental type of level design with a constantly rising challenge is something I adore. For instance, the first level introduces you to enemies with melee attacks, blunderbusses, bomb throws, spike traps, moving platforms, and disappearing blocks. Fairly simple to remember these few challenge levels, right? Well, level 2 keeps a lot of those elements and introduces sludge pits and a boss. With every other level having either a map piece to the amulet or a boss battle, Captain Claw makes slow yet steady progress collecting these pieces or straight up beating the information and gems right out of his enemies. Even the bosses bring a unique flavor to every level. Every boss has a gimmick, even the simpler ones, and figuring it out will take some time, but nailing each boss fight brings a sense of satisfaction as it should. Levels are wonderfully designed and diverse, spanning prison cells, battlements, forests, deep jungles, cityscapes, townships, piers, shipyards, coves, wrecks, caves, caverns, islands, and hidden temples, each of which have secrets to unlock, treasures to collect, power-ups to slay your foes with, and food in case you start to run out of health, which you will. A lot. Even in all its simplicity, I feel like Captain Claw and the game's level design received less commendation than was deserved. Apart from its cliché story, interesting and diverse cast of characters, and the single-player mode, the game also boasted a custom level option. This is where players could play but not necessarily edit custom levels. The multiplayer mode was the closest thing the 1990s could get to a present-day battle royale. No, I swear, I'm not kidding. Up to 64 players could connect and battle it out against each other, with the objective being to slay as many enemies as possible, gain treasure and loot, and rank up to be the winner. A multiplayer racing game mode was also included, but needless to say, I didn't get to play any of these back in the day. I had no friends in dial-up internet. You do the math. Captain Claw is one of the most fascinating games ever made, in my opinion. I feel like my 5-year-old self and my 24-year-old self come closer and agree with each other on that in unison. This game was brilliant at the time, and it still doesn't cease to impress. And I'm sure that I'm certainly not the only one who thinks that. With a healthy speedrunning community and a website dedicated to curating and preserving all things Captain Claw, I'm thrilled to see the undying love this game has garnered over the decades. We're in 2020 now, and the year has been, well, you know. So I suggest if you can get this to run on a DOSBox emulator, or find a video which helps you run it in good shape on your desktops, get it downloaded, give it a shot. You never know what may spark nostalgia and send you on a trip that brings back memories, innocence, and the curiosity of gaming as a child. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't, there's a button for that too. Comment, really comment. No, it's not just good for the algorithm, but I really want to know what your memories with this game are. Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on my socials if that's something you want to do. Let's connect and talk about some more video games. Until then, this is me, Kedar, signing off.